It is podcast batching day, and we are on our final guest for today. Our guest today is an expert in helping agencies to level up their communications and their conversion strategies, particularly through SMS marketing. He works closely with high-level agencies to refine their messaging, improve their engagement, and drive better results using simple but powerful systems. So this guy is awesome. He helps me with my SMS marketing, and it is a real pleasure to welcome to Strategy with Sally, the amazing, the awesome Gary Caps. Yeah, there he is.
We got applause and everything. Yay! Sparkles. So nice. Thank you, Sally.
You're welcome,
Really great
Gary.
intro.
Look, it's so good to have you on the show. I know we've spoken it about a few times, but we finally locked that one down. And I'm really excited about today's topic. But before we get into today's topic around SMS, I'd love for you to share with our listeners, your journey. Where did you start? And, what was the catalyst to move you into where you are now with your current business?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, my start anyway. So where I got to in the current business, so this SMS solution that we offer now was basically born out of the issues that we had as an agency, or a white label agency with high level, and the cost of SMS, and also the delays in getting SMS set up for our clients. That was the problem that we were trying to kind of solve for ourselves. So we solved that problem, and then we started talking to agencies about what we'd done, and they liked it, and then we turned it into the platform that we had. Well, then it wasn't the platform we have today, but we turned it into a solution for other clients, and we've just evolved massively from there in the last, it's been almost 2 years now, almost two
Yeah, it's
years since we
pretty
launched
awesome,
this.
especially for us here in Australia, which really struggle with, the price it costs for SMS when you're like plugging it into, other things like Twilio and all of those kind of things. But what about your journey as an agency? Tell me a bit more about that. Like, why did you start a white label agency?
So, been in digital for quite some time anyway, like going back to working in big agencies in Sydney. So, I used to head up SEO for a couple of large agencies in Sydney, and then became sort of left that, went out, started consulting, created an agency out of consulting basically. It was doing that. And I guess it was just charging uh, hours for time basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I like software. Like I've built a couple of software platforms before for different things, and I just come across high level. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So you've got all this stuff that you could do, and I don't have to build it from scratch. There's like a platform here, and all these things that we could use, and then we could put clients in it, and they can get the benefits of these solutions that we can build within a platform that we don't have to create from scratch, basically. So
Yeah.
that's what started us on the journey of high level and a white label agency there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I mean, we love it, as you know, just as much as you. We used to like just piecemeal so many pieces of tech together before we ended
Yeah,
up coming across a high level. I was stalking them way back in like, it was like 18 or 19 or somewhere like that. And I'm like, not yet good enough. But they've really
just
come
when it
ahead
started.
crazy amount, haven't they, since they first started? And now, that it's the powerhouse that we all know and love. But let's like talk about today's topic. I'm really excited about this because I love SMS marketing. So you're going to share some hot tips today around your SMS copy sucks and
Yeah,
how to
that's it.
fix it. So, tell me a little bit more about why most SMS campaigns fail to convert.
I can show you if you want. I've got like a presentation here. I can go through all of that, and I can show you examples. We can do the whole thing. I've got examples of why they fail, because we see across our numbers and accounts and people we've got, and anyone who wants SMS as well should talk to you, because you're one of our partners who provides this for their clients as well. So if you do want it and you're one of Sally's clients, go and talk to Sally, please, because she will get you hooked up. You don't have to come straight to us. Sally will get you organized there. But collectively, across all the agencies that we provide the service to, who then provide it onto their end user clients, we see millions of messages a month that go out.
Yeah.
And there are issues that people have with their campaigns as they send them. And people don't realize, like, SMS has got an amazing delivery rate compared to email, right? But there are still spam filters in SMS campaigns, right? Or in SMS, like telcos still filter for keywords and, content and copy and how you do it. And then through our solution, the way that it works, because I'll get into this a bit more in detail, or I'll get into the presentation for you, because we're using SIM cards and SIM devices, that can depend on the message content. So there is an art to putting this stuff together. Now, we've got about an hour today to go through this, and I'm going to give everyone as much information as I can in terms of tips and help, but I'm not able to basically tell everyone everything that you can do. But what we'll give you at the end of this, for anyone who's watching this, is the tools where you can go away for free and use stuff that we've created so that you can make your campaigns work better. And we've put that knowledge into custom GPTs and things that people can use so that they can do it themselves.
Awesome. Now, I didn't prepare for a presentation for a podcast interview, so I don't know if you can actually share screen on your side because we're using Ecamm.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we can't, then I can.
So I guess if you send it to me, I can make a scene to put the presentation in. Like, let's just wing this thing because this is the joy of live. But if you can send it to me, just tell me.
It does say down here, share screen. Am I able to do that?
You are able to. All right.
There's a share screen button on the screen I'm looking at here.
That's fabulous. I love that because I don't normally see, or I never see, the other side of this software. So if you've got that share screen button, go ahead and let me just fix that up for you so that we look good on screen as well. So I'm going to...
That's all right. There we go.
Grab us and stick us over here. Stick you here. Bring on... Ooh, there we go. That is not what I want, though. I want a different place. Oh, it's not letting me overtake the screen now. That's okay. We will figure that out. There you are, Gary.
There I am. There's a presentation. There you are.
There I am. Let's move all these little screens around. I'll stick myself down here. All right. Go for it. I'll let you drive and share and teach and all the good things.
Too easy. That's all right. As long as people take away principles from this, then that's the main thing that I can kind of hope for, because it's like anything, I see this so much, and I've done so many of these anyway, like campaigns for our clients, database reactivations, right? It makes a lot of sense to me, okay? But when you're new to it or new to any of these things, obviously it takes a bit of time. So, an hour today is not enough time for people to just kind of get everything and then go and run with it. But we've got tools that we'll give you for free. There's no pitch at the end of this. Like I say, if anyone wants to use our service, go and talk to Sally. She will get you hooked up. You don't have to come directly to us. But we'll give you guys the tools to help you so that when you are set up and you're running your SMS campaigns, that they will be much more effective. So our brilliantly titled presentation is Your SMS Copy Sucks, and here's how to fix it, right? Because that's what I see a lot of the time, right? People, they get their campaigns blocked, they fail, they're just not getting a return on them, they're not getting replies and stuff like that, or they're just sending messages out and they just don't convert, okay? So there's a really important thing that I'm going to keep talking about during this presentation, which is you having conversations, right? Conversational marketing works so much better, and that's what I try and instill with all our clients, and we train them all the time. So we are a software company, but as much as we are a software company, we try and train and educate our users to make sure they can get the best out of the platform. And conversational marketing works better in terms of delivery and better in terms of results, okay? So what we're here for today, 3 things that hopefully everyone will walk away. Best practice for SMS, and I give you 3 extra tips for success, and I give you a free tool that will do all of this stuff for you. All right. Who am I? We touched on this very briefly earlier anyway, as you jumping ahead into my presentation. Like, you knew I was going to do this, Sally. But like, I started my background, so my background is actually in building services. So what I used to do was program buildings for a living. So whatever you wanted to put into a building and turn on, off, up or down, then connect it to a computer. That's what I used to do. So air conditioning, lifts, alarms, CCTV, put it into a building, computer will turn it on, off, up, down, automations. That's what I used to do. So I've got a background in it's like PLC, logic, automation, programming, and then took that into websites, SEO, worked in digital for a long time, and then it's probably more now, 5-6 years using High Level, being around in there for a while. And then out of that, what we have created now is My CRM Sim. So we offer SMS, iMessage, WhatsApp, and we have RCS coming out next week, will be launched, all under one platform. So what that means is we are a complete solution for people to be actually able to message across all those different mediums. And there's different reasons why you might use different ones. We've got over 600 agencies that use us. So that is agencies, not clients. And then agencies that have got sub accounts. So we've got thousands and thousands of sub accounts. We are the number 5 or 6, depending on what day or time of day you look at it, 5th or 6th most downloaded app in the entire High Level marketplace. We've sent well over 30 million messages. We say we have 99.999% uptime reliability because that's what Amazon say they state. So we can't say we're better than Amazon, right? But all our stuff is built on AWS infrastructure for scale, because this is very important that we have a good solid infrastructure, so and secure as well. So all our stuff is built in there. So first of all, I just want to explain like why use text as well, right? So this is the thing, like why do we use text? Email's great. There's a place for email, and text has basically just a much higher open rate. So you're looking at around about 98% open rates for text, which is way, way greater than email. Like delivery, okay? Like who hasn't got one of these in their pocket or in their hand, like for 90% plus of the time that they're awake, right? Yeah. You see this, you feel it vibrate, people pay attention to this, right? It's not like email. Your email box is just full, right? So this comes in, it's direct, it's personal, it comes straight in here. Your email inbox just gets crowded. You go, oh, I'll deal with that later. There'll always be one, right? I talked about this. I did a presentation in Costa Rica recently, right? There's always one. I said, like, who has got like hundreds, if not thousands, of unread emails? But I bet you haven't got one unread text message on your phone. All right, there's always one. There was one person who went, yeah, I've actually got like 5,000 unread text messages on my phone, because there's always one. But 99% of people, you read your text messages. There isn't a text message that you don't read, okay? Whether you respond or not, but you always see them, right? And so that means your response rates are much higher as well. So you've got really high response rates on text compared to email. And you can get those rates up much higher if you use some of the strategies I'm going to talk about today, all right? So we want to talk about crafting your message, and we're making conversations, not broadcasting, okay? Because conversations mean I want to talk to you. I want to send you a message. I want you to reply. I want to have a conversation with you. I don't just want to send you an offer. You go, here's my offer, buy my stuff. Mm-hmm. That's not good, okay? We want people to reply. So this is how we text, all right? So Sally, if we were going to be catching up, right, at the weekend, I'll be like, instead of, hey, Mike, I'll be like, hey, Sally, send. Fancy coming for a drink on Saturday? Send. We'll be at the Dog at Ferret at 12. Send. Gary, thumbs up emoji, send. All right, that's the kind of way that we communicate, all right? So we break it all up. We make it personal. We put some emojis in there. Like, this is nice. It's personal. It's warm. You know this is from a human, right? But this is how marketers text, all right? So I'm a marketer. I'm sending you this. I'll be, hey, it's Gary here. We will be going for a drink on Saturday at 12 at the Dog and Ferret. Please confirm if you'd like to come by clicking this link. Big, long, dirty tracking link, right? Obviously, I'm not going to send you that to come and catch you for a drink. But you get the point, right? Marketers are pushing their text messages out to people, and they're like ramming it down their throat and go, here's the deal, here's the link, go buy it, right? We don't want to do that. We want to have nice personal conversations. We want people to reply. And there's a lot of reasons for that as well, right? Above one that I'll just mention here, right, is that I want people to reply because that gives me authority on my number. And what I mean by authority, and I'll relate this back to email, people understand with email that you get domain authority over time with your email, which gets you better delivery and better inbox rates. People get that with email. They don't think about that with text. But the more people reply to my text messages, the better authority my text message on my phone has actually got, the phone that we're using. Because again, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it here, but we're using phones and SIM cards through our platform to send messages. So we want to have this look like a person's using it all the time, and we've got conversations going back and forth. If it's all one-way traffic, all right, who has got a phone number that they just send text messages out from and nobody replies to? A spammer, right? So you need to have conversations, right? So you don't want to be sending these out. This is what I'm saying by like bad text messages. This is what I see. And if you're doing stuff like this and sending this out to your clients, you fall into the category of your SMS messages suck, right? Sorry, but they do. And I see it. I see people do this, and then they go, "Oh, why isn't this working?" You go, "Well, because you wrote a nonsense text message, and nobody likes that. Nobody wants this. They're not going to reply to it. They want to have a personal touch, right?" So the marketing versus natural, right? So marketing, big block text, call to action heavy, very formal, long tracking links. Don't put emojis in there. And then versus that natural style, we're short, we break it up, we're offer focused, we're informal, friendly. We always put links at the end if we're going to have them, right? You never send a link in your first message, and we put emojis through there as well. Now, I'll just go back here as well, just to go back as a point, right? So people understand the value of this and why using SIM cards and messages is a good alternative to Twilio, because you can do all this with Twilio as well, right? Everything I'm saying here applies to our service, it applies to Twilio, applies to any text messaging platform that you're using, okay? So you should understand this no matter what you're doing, and I want people to get this, right? No matter whether they use us or something else, right? But if you were using Twilio, for example, and you were sending this out, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 text messages. Now, we're in Australia. Price of text messaging, about 6 US cents, roughly, per message that you send out. So this is 6, 12, 18, 24 cents that's costing us to send that message out, okay? Now, if we did one block one like this, all right? Now, this is obviously not good, right? But if we just compacted it into one, then that would be 6 cents, right? As long as it's under the 160-ish characters, okay? Because it's characters, not actually the text, because it breaks into segments, because that can cause extra cost as well. But the advantages, and like I said, I just want to go back to like the advantages, like conversational works brilliantly, but if you're using Twilio, you'll get charged a lot more money. If you're using these and you've got an unlimited SIM plan, that's not going to cost me anything over and above the cost of my SIM card. SIM card plan, $10, $15, $20 a month, fixed cost. I don't care how many of these messages I send out, okay? Within reason, there's a couple of caveats around that, right? You can't send like 1 million text messages at once through a phone, okay? So there are some little caveats around that. But yeah, it's not going to cost me for every single text message, all right? So yeah, look, if you look at that side by side, anyway, I'll scan this, zoom this one up a little bit actually. This is actually taken from, this isn't the exact message, right? But this here, hopefully you can see, let me zoom in a little bit more. This here was actually what a client who joined us was sending out to their clients who were joining their fitness boot camp, right? This is an almost direct copy of what they were sending out. So when the person who joined their program, they would send them this message on day one, says, "Hey Mike, welcome to day one. Start with a light cardio workout today. Remember to post the progress photo to our photo group, Facebook group link, and update your accountability diary here." Another big, long, dirty link. Best regards, Gary, my Fitbits, all right? The names have been changed to protect the innocent, all right? But that's basically what they sent out.
Yeah.
And they were not getting good responses from that. And they were also having trouble with their carrier delivering it and blocking their numbers and stuff like that, all right? So because of sending all these links out and stuff. So we just went through it with them and said, hey, look, let's do this instead. Let's break this up. So now it's, hey, Mike, it's Gary here from My Fitbits. All right. So see here, I've introduced myself at the start of this message. Over here, I signed it off. Best regards, Gary. But here, I'm like, hey, Mike, it's Gary here from My Fitbits. Just checking in for day one of your challenge, right? And then send. They're going to get this. And this is all done through automations. If you don't know how to do this through automations, talk to Sally. She'll get you set up. But this is just like a drip to send these and break them up through automations, right? Very easily done. So they'll get that first bit and they go, oh, Gary's texting me. He's checking in. Awesome. Lovely. See that. And then a few seconds later, this bit pops in. Start out today with some light cardio just to get warmed into the challenge with a nice little emoji, a little runner. Okay, so they've received part one, then they get part two. And Then they go to get part 3. Don't forget to post your progress photo here. And now we've got branded links. All right, this is another sort of side topic, right? But we've got a nice branded link instead of like this big horrible Facebook link. So use short links, use branded links, do something a bit better. I wouldn't necessarily recommend having 2 call to actions in one text like this. This isn't perfect, but that's what they wanted. And then update your accountability diary here. And then we've got a nice like short tracking link as well in there. So we replace these horrible, ugly links with like tracking links. We've broken this up. So you imagine, Sally, right? If you've joined you've joined Gary's boot camp, right? And you get this, you know that Gary didn't text you. You know you're in some automation, and Gary doesn't really care about you at all, right? He's reminding you, trying to keep you on track, but Gary doesn't really care.
Yeah.
If you get this, now maybe you're figuring out that, this is some kind of automation, but doesn't this make it look like someone's actually reached out to you? It's short, it's informal, it's personal, there's emojis in there. Like, it doesn't look spammy, right? Completely different feeling when you receive this, okay? So, and just to touch on that as well, when they changed this and they redid that approach, they started getting replies, people were posting their photos, they were getting progress reports. This changed everything in that restructuring of their message, okay? So that's an actual example from a case. And like I said, it's really easy to set up. You set these up, you've got nice little short delays, just space the messages apart, multiple messages, they're all conversational, each one builds on the last. So, like here, we've got a little initial day greeting, wait a few seconds, send out the message body, wait a few seconds, and then we send out the closing. All right. Doesn't have to be 3 parts. Generally, I like to use 2. 2 is kind of easy, but 1, 2, 3 parts to a message. Nice, short, conversational, right? People are much more likely to reply to that stuff because they think someone's messaging them.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, we have one that goes out that says, hey, is this insert name? And you just requested access to XYZ. And we get replies to that because it's short, sweet, and ends in a question. Yeah, love it.
Perfect. That's a spear. We're going to go to that. That's one of the spear framework ones. You're going to be doing it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't need to go any further. You've got the tips.
No. You are the guy with the SMS. The amount of things that you get to see coming through your software, you are like everyone should lean in and listen. Definitely.
Yeah. No, we see a lot. We do see a lot. So that's what we want anyway. We want these conversations, right? And even going back to this, right? I'm sorry, I'm flicking back and forth a bit through a presentation, good. But like this is good, right? If we think about this in terms of a marketing message, right? If I've sent this out, and this is my marketing thing here, right? But fancy going for a drink, or we take this as an offer, right? We say, hey, Mike, it's Gary here from My CRM Sim. We've got an amazing deal on XYZ at the moment. Would you like me to send you the details? All right. So I'm asking a question. Now, they can reply to me and say, no, I don't want it at all. That's fine. I know they don't want it. They wouldn't buy it if I sent them a link directly, so they're already not going to be buying it. So I'm just asking them. They've replied to me, and now I've actually got like a bit more authority on my number, all right? And that's good for everything, whether it's Twilio, us, whatever it might be. That's good for your messaging system, right? Getting replies is much better. If they said no, that's fine, because if they said no, they're never going to have bought it from, sending out one of these marketing messages to them anyway. So have a conversation and stick an AI bot on the back end of it. So if someone replies no, reply back to them. Say, oh, that's awesome. No problem. Thanks for your consideration, whatever it might be. Thanks for letting me know. Now you've actually had a conversation. How good does your messaging look now? It looks like you're talking to people. It looks like they're engaged. Your domain, your number authority is increasing every time you start having a conversation. So these are important little things to think about, okay? So let me skip over here, all right? So we've got 3 little bonus tips for success in here, okay? So timing is everything. So SMS is different to email, all right? We want to send SMS within business hours, all right? Within the person's local time zone, all right? We do not want to be sending text messages to people at 3 o'clock in the morning because they do not want to have a conversation then, right? So peak response windows are between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right, these are the best times to send them. If you're sending out database reactivations, which we can always come back to you and talk to you about that and the best way to set those up, because there's, again, some nuances around those. These are the best times to get responses from people, okay? But, if you're doing an email campaign, it's pretty common for people to kind of put an email campaign and they'll just they might let it drip out, and they're just going to send it over a period of hours, and they don't care if an email gets delivered at 2 a.m., all right? I personally think they should care. I don't want to deliver emails at 2 a.m. I want to go into the inbox when people are going to read them in these peak times as well. But people don't care so much about email, right? But SMS, you definitely don't want that person and their phone number or their phone beeping at 2 a.m. that's on their nightside table, because they're going to hate you then.
Easiest way to piss off people, right? 3 a.m. text message.
Yeah, like, no, I do not want your offer. I'm sleeping. Get nutted, or some other polite response that people use. All right. So again, all of this can be done high level. We've got time zone awareness. As long as you've got the time zone set for the person, we've got a bunch of stuff to help with that as well. So you can go. We've got snapshots and things actually you've got all our snapshots. So we've got all those things to the snapshots to make sure you've got the time zone attached to the people for their number and all that stuff. And then just set that up through high level in the snapshots, set delivery times. That's pretty easy to do. All right. So make sure your timing is right. Send them during daytime. Okay. Not at night. The misspelling. All right. Yes, on purpose. All right. So deliberately including a small and obvious typo in your follow-up SMS, then immediately correct yourself in the next message. So that triggers curiosity, and it feels like a human has actually done that, right? So you can see the example here. So, hey, Mike, sorry we missed your call today. Is there a better time that suits you to rebook? Gary, my CRM sim. And then a few seconds later, like I'd have a little bit more of a day, say, oh, sorry, suits. All right. I use this one all the time for people that don't turn up to calls. I used to do this when I had appointments. So if they didn't turn up, I had an automated trigger say, oh, I didn't attend, and then it would send them this message. So many people reply to this because they go, oh, I didn't turn up for the meeting with Gary. I feel bad. And he's texted me and chased me up, right? Because this looks like I actually text them. In fact, I didn't. Like, I just clicked a button in my automation to say, they didn't attend the meeting, because you're sitting on Zoom for 5 minutes. At the end, you go, no, didn't attend. Automation kicks in, sends them this, and they go, oh, yeah, sorry. And they'll go, oh, yeah, sorry about that. I got busy. Because people get busy, right? We can't always blame people for not turning up. Things happen in their life, whatever it is, or work or other appointments, right? But genuinely, they'll feel like somebody actually messaged them, and they're way, way more likely to reply. So this is a really good one for no-shows to meetings and stuff like that, okay? So misspellings, really awesome. Again, you can use AI bots on the back of this to then rebook them back into a call. And then this one, the SPEAR framework. All right, this is exactly what you were saying. So what was your message? Hi, is this contact name?
Yeah, in contact name, I see you just requested insert thing.
Perfect. SPEAR, short, personal, expecting a response. That's a SPEAR message, exactly what you've done there. So another example, the one we've got here, hey, Mike. Well, this is a really good one. So at the end of follow-up sequences. So sometimes people they'll get into a sequence, an automation, a follow-up, and you're sending them messages. Hey, would you like to book in? Saw you're interested in this. Here's some info, whatever it might be. And they just don't respond for whatever reason. This is a really nice little spear to put at the end of campaigns, after they've received several things that they haven't replied to. There comes a point in time you're going to stop that at the end of the day. And you can just send this. Says, hey, Mike, seems like you were interested in getting leads for Acme Company, company name, whatever. But we haven't managed to connect. What next? Just ask them, what next? And a lot of people just reply to this, and they'll give you some response. They go, oh, yeah, sorry, I've been really busy. I'm thinking about it. I'd like to catch up next week or next month. Or they might just reply and say, yeah, sorry, I was interested at the time, but I'm not now because of ABC. Or they might even give you a reason. But people reply to things like this because they go, oh, well, I need to reply. Because if you directly ask them, what next? Like you are asking with your little spear message, which is awesome. So you're already getting those things in there.
Check.
Check. Good job. All right. So a little summary of the tips we've gone through there. So break up your texts, use short delays, make them look natural. Use emojis, have fun. Like my favorite ones, like little shackers, like fist pump, smiley face, love hearts. I use love hearts all the time in my messages. You can make so much difference in the way that a message is perceived by using emojis.
For
And then
sure.
if you're using SIM cards as well, like again, this is going back a little bit to the cost, right? But on SIM cards, you're not paying extra for those emojis. A lot of people don't realize that emojis are actually characters. So that little shaka sign there, I don't know off the top of my head, right? But that little shaka sign there is something like 20 or 30 characters to make that up. So if you have a text message that's 160 characters, and somebody's going to look this up and tell me I'm getting the numbers wrong. So if I get the numbers wrong, just the principle's the
All
same, right?
good, all
If you've
good.
got, let's say if you've got 150 characters and then a shaka on the end of it, that's going to put you or could put you over the segment number. All right.
Yeah.
So messages are sent by segment. All right. So now you're actually sending two messages instead of one if you're using Twilio, for example. So you'll be charged twice. Okay. So just let that sink in for people that don't understand what that means. Basically, it's just extending the number of characters in your message because that shaka is made up by a whole bunch of characters. So you'll get double charged. And I've seen this with people where they put together messages and they might be doing like one message, but they put in 3, 4, 5 emojis in this one message.
Mm-hmm.
But that message actually suddenly becomes 3, 4, or 5 messages being sent out, even though it's short. They don't know
Yeah.
that. So their bill goes through the roof. We actually had an example of that with the client the other day where they were in the US, where text messaging is very, very cheap compared to us in Australia. Like it's less than 1 cent per message. They were breaking their messages up. So they were actually sending quite a lot of messages. All right. And they were quite long and they had a load of emojis in there. And they kind of knew they were going to get charged per message they were sending, but they were sending like 3 long text messages, like one after the other after the other. It was a load of info. When someone had signed up for a program, it was basically like, hey, here's the details of your program. You can go here and you can do this. And like that was one. And then if you want to do this and book in for this, here's another one. So they were very long explanatory messages. So they knew they were sending 3 messages with all these emojis in, but they didn't know about the character limits. So their 3 messages were actually something like 11 messages.
Yeah. Wow.
So and then they had emojis in there as well, which took it out even further. So
Yep.
that was something like 15 or 16 messages altogether. So they
Yep.
thought they were spending 3 cents per message out. They were aware of that. What they didn't realize is they were actually spending about 16 cents
Yeah. It's
per
kind of like, yeah, hi, welcome to our world
contact.
here in Australia. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
So they didn't realize that. And so we went through and looked at that. We're like, well, hey, this is how much you're spending. There's character count things out there that you can use to figure this out, which we
Yeah.
went through with them and said, hey, look, if you want to keep doing that, this is going to cost you a fortune. So anyway, so they switched over to using SIM cards instead. Using misspellings, spark reactions, make it seem like, actually a real person's done. Keep links until after your first reply. Okay. Now I kind of touched on that. I didn't put that in the summary there, but never send a link in your first message. That's the equivalent of a spammer sending out like spammy emails. All right. Don't send out a click here. Okay. You want to keep messages or keep the links to the end. All right. Or send a message first and then send a link. Ideally, don't send links to people until they've replied to you. So if you're
Yeah.
going to engage with a customer, you want to send them an offer, say, hey, it's Gary here. I've got this great offer. Are you interested? That's not a great example, but that's it. When they reply yes, go, awesome. Here you go. Here's the details. Here's the link once they've replied. So make conversations, not broadcasts. Exactly what I've just said. Conversations, not broadcasts. Give them links when they've asked to. Respect their time zones for delivery. No text messages at 3 a.m. And use that SPEAR framework for cold leads. Okay. So that's kind of the summary. So kind of banged through that fairly quickly. And I promised a tool for you guys where you could actually do this for free. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to open this up. Let me just grab this. I'll bring it over.
This is awesome. Lots of great tips for all our listeners out there. Like even I didn't even think about the fact that having a link in that first message is spammy, right? Just these hot tips that you've got that are really, really going to help improve the deliverability and, up the like credibility of that phone number, because we're always looking at deliverability and keeping a healthy sending domain for our emails. But yeah, I've never really thought about it from an SMS point of view. And so these are great tips.
Absolutely. And these are tips too, like when you're in your high level account, making sure you set up your API and your sending domains. All right. So I've had this with so many people. I'm just going to go back to this one, right? So these are all the little things. You know, this lead connector.co, that's the default number. That's the default URL for trigger links. Okay.
Yeah.
Track your messages, use trigger links. If you put this into a text message, I can almost guarantee that your message will go to spam because this URL has been spammed to death. So making sure that you're using custom domains with authority, because again, the carriers will look at the domains that the link is being sent with, and if they've been used for spam, they're likely to push those off to the side. All right. So don't use the default ones in high level, right? That's another little no-no. Now, what I want to show you here, I'm going to share with this, and I'm going to give you guys all access to this as well. So everything I've talked about here, like creating those conversational text messages, there's more to it as well, because there's certain keywords that you should avoid depending on the industries you're in. There's words that the carriers look at, so you don't want to use those in there. But creating this natural conversation, we've built this custom GPT that will help you to write all of your text messages. So for database reactivations, follow-ups, doesn't matter, this will do them for you. So I'm going to give you a little demo, and then I will share a link to this where you guys can grab this as well. You can see my screen, right? I've swapped to a different tab.
Sure
can. Perfect.
Yep.
Sorry, because we're using your eCam thing here and not Zoom. I'm like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yeah, no, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. I've actually learned something new because I've never had a guest on to share a screen in eCam before, so it's really cool. I'll be asking next time, so I set the scenes to look prettier. But hey, it's awesome.
All good. So what we want to do is we want to create a conversational message. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, click on that first button, which will ask me what type of message I want to write. So our little GPT, it looks like this is a little bit slow. I think probably just because we're streaming and stuff, so it might just be a little bit slow, so bear with us. So yeah, we've got that at the start. We've just clicked on that button. It says, what SMS message you'd like to write? And it will ask here, you're looking to create database reactivation messages or a follow-up marketing sequence. So I'm going to go through my example that I pretty much use all the time. So I'm going to say I'm going to be doing a DBR, and I can just tell it DBR. It will work this out anyway. I don't have to write out database reactivation. So this will then just step me through the questions to create the conversational message sequence for me. So first question, what's the name of the business that you are doing this for? So I'll say I'm here for Billy's Brushes. All right, nice one. Next question, what is their website URL? So I'm going to say it's billys.com. The name of the person sending the messages is Billy, because he owns everything. The offer we are sending, so this is our offer. We're going to do 20% off brushes this week. Is there a date this offer ends? I just told you, this week. All right, got it. Keep it nice and natural. Is there a link you need to send them? So yeah, I'm just going to say, look, I want to send them the website. If you've got a special offer link, obviously, put that stuff in there. Perfect. Is there a coupon code we need to send them? So yeah, coupon code is 20Billy. Do you need a follow-up reminder? I'll say yes, please. All right, so we've got everything we need. Okay, so here is our DBR reactivation sequence for Billy's Brushes. Okay, so day one, so when we send this out, we've got a part 1A and a part 1B. So remember how I said we're going to have these different sections to go through. So we've got day one. So, hey, contact first name, it's Billy from location name. Just wanted to quickly check in. So this is all built as well to use the custom variables out of high level. So you can just drop this straight in, and assuming you've got your contact name and location name and everything set up, this will just grab everything for you. So you don't have to worry about doing all that stuff. All right. So hey, contact name is Billy from Billy's Brushes. Just want to quickly check in. And then a few seconds later, we would set this in the workflow to send out this second part. We've got 20% off all our brushes this week. Cool little sunglass emoji. Want me to send you the details? Seems like Billy sent me a message, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if they reply yes, this is going to give you an option for a reply yes, which we can't get into that here. This is the stuff that you help your clients with,
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
can
we
do
build it
themselves
into the
to,
workflows. Yeah.
yeah, build it into the workflow, or an automation or an AI bot that's going to reply. This is kind of the generic reply for the bot. So here's the links, check them out. Use code 20Billy at the checkout. All right. But if they don't reply, we've got some follow-ups here. So day 3, we send out, hey, contact name, just a quick one. Didn't want you to miss this. And then we've got a little second part, that 20% off brushes deal still running, only for a little time longer. Want me to resend the details? So I've got a little reminder.
Yeah.
And then I've got another one. Okay. Just giving you a quick heads up before this end. Last chance to grab 20% off brushes this week. Want me to shoot the link over again?
Yeah.
So I'm just
Awesome.
reminding them. Okay. So we've just got a nice little one there. Now, assuming that that's all nice and you go, yep, that's perfect. You can obviously talk to it here and adjust it. There was actually options here as well to ask them for more info if you want to and stuff. So more info that you put in is the better. Now, assuming that that's all good. Now, I haven't got time to go into this, but as I mentioned before, like one of the things with sending out messages, especially when you do it through SIM cards, one of the things that can get you flagged and in trouble is if you're sending the same message again and again. Even if you're sending it on drip, and I haven't gone into that, right, but just the thing that people need to be aware of, when you're using SIM cards, they have to go out on drip. You can't just blast it out. So they have to go out slowly. So you're going to drip this over time. Okay, so like maximum of like 1 per minute if you're using SMS or WhatsApp. iMessage has a lower send rate because of Apple restrictions. Nothing we can do about that. It's perfectly fine for database reactivations because you can just send them out over a few days, depending on how big your list is. Just send them out over a few days, whatever. But if you're sending the same message again and again, that also looks like it's spam. Okay. And this is also for your Twilio numbers as well. Like you don't want to be sending the same message again and again, right? Vary the content, vary the text. It's going to help you with delivery. So our little GPT will do this, assuming you're happy with it. It'll just ask us, hey, you want me to create 4 different variations of this? And we'll just go, yeah. So let this do its work. And it will just punch through and it'll go, here you go. Here's 4 variations for you. Okay. And you've got them because you have them from us, snapshots and workflows where you can literally now just go and drop these messages in. I mean, unfortunately, at this point, you're going to have to do a little manual copy and paste. Sorry about that. But we've just saved you a whole bunch of time. We've removed all the trigger words. We've got conversational messages. And now you just go copy paste them into the snapshot, into the workflow, connect your phone, your SIM card, which that can be done within 10 minutes when you know how to do it. And you've got a database reactivation up and running within an hour, basically, with good messaging, good delivery, and all the right things that you should have in there. Okay, so there you go. So we've got all our variants. So if people want to grab that, okay, then let me just go back to, where am I? This one. Am I going to mess up your screen? No, perfect. There we go. If people want to grab that, let me go back down here. All right, this is your little AI-powered SMS copywriter, so they can go there, mycrmsim.com/message buddy, scan that QR code if you want. Go there, grab that, no cost, no catch, just use that. If you want to implement those strategies or our system into your system, into your high level, have a chat to Sally. If you've got an account with her, she will get you set up and running.
Awesome. So many awesome tips there, Gary. Really, really appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers will also. And even because you do this all day, every day, looking at text messages and you know what works. So take what Gary has said today and have a look through your current setup and see if you can tweak it and improve it as well. Well, I know you have a quick dash. You got a hard stop today, Gary. So I do want to really thank you for taking the time and joining us on the podcast. We'll have to get you back for interview style and, a little deeper dive into who is Gary as well.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, you brought some really good tips to the table, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners will be really appreciative of all of those. But I know you got a hard stop. You got a full back-to-back day. I know what that was like. That was me yesterday, back-to-back. So
yeah,
it's Easter's about
school
to
holidays
start.
Are coming up.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I've got it today, because it's school holidays tomorrow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that until yesterday.
Well, this is the thing.
So I've just crammed everything into today to kind of get that done because my son's off school tomorrow. So I'm like, what am I
think
going to
that's the thing of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. I forget about public holidays half the time until somebody else reminds me that there's a holiday coming up, and I'm like, oh, book those appointments and then have to shift them. Awesome.
Had no idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we got a lot of fabulous tips there for everyone. If people want to find out more and follow you, Gary, where should they go? I mean, you've just dropped the link for the other one, but where do you like to hang out on the socials?
Facebook. I'm in Facebook. We have a big Facebook group. Well, I say big Facebook group compared to some it's not. So we've got a good Facebook group. Let me call it that. A very good Facebook group where we go through all this stuff. We provide tips. We provide value. We have people come in there and talk about other things as well with AI. So that is, if you Google our Facebook group, what's the link for that? Facebook.com groups My CRM Sim, something like that.
Yeah, I'll make sure that all your links are put around the video and included in the show notes so people will know where to find you. And if people want to find out more about My CRM Sim or connecting their SIM card to their account, then simply just reach out to us and we'll organise to get you all hooked up. Excellent. Thanks, Gary. You have a good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your jam-packed day. But I hope you have a good Easter and a break and have some time to chillax as well.
Thanks, Sally. You too.
Thank you. Bye for now.
See you.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.